Welcome back to Etown Horsepower. Last time you was with us, we was tearing this motor apart. Now it's good and clean. It's ready for the machine shop. We're going to Bischoff Racing Engines to have it done. We're going to sleeve the block, CNC port the heads. It should be a good time. We hope you come along with us. Let's go. Wall of Fame.
On the Wall of Fame.
See, there's
His little midget.
G-Force. Here's our head right here. That's the cathedral porch. Looks nice.
Yeah, it does.
Close enough. Hey, how's it going, guys?
Yeah, I was talking to you on the phone.
Yeah, what's going on, man?
Well, come to drop that stuff off. I was going to show you all the stuff I got picked out.
Okay. So what do you got to drop off here today?
Got the block and the heads.
Air block?
Yep.
Put a tag on that.
And complete cylinder heads? You got valves and stuff. Probably reuse the valves, maybe.
Maybe. I don't know.
So the factory valves do pretty good.
These ones might be a little rusty.
Oh, really? If they got any corrosion or pitting on them or anything like that, then we probably would want to replace them.
Right.
Yeah, we'll let the cylinder head guys figure that out. This is probably not going to be, it's going to be a hydraulic cam.
Yeah, I'm going to let Tony pick out the cam.
Oh, yeah, so more than likely we'll be using some pretty common sense, straightforward stuff. But we want to do, we're going to sleeve the block, correct?
Right.
I think Tony was saying he wanted to stay with the stock bore, so go 4065. We'll sleeve the block and then, I think what other upgrades do we really want to do?
I mean, the cam bearings in it look good. How the mains look good.
We'll probably end up having to knock a cam bearing out of it just to get it in the machine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's got a puck that goes in the back of the machine where in the cam bore. So we'll probably have to knock the cam bearings. So that'll probably end up getting replaced either way.
I think I'm just going to stay with that and go wet.
Yeah, that's
But
that sounds like
the pan's a little bit shallower,
Mhm.
but then I got to put the tank somewhere, and it's like, it's another thing I got to put.
Yeah, dry sumps, that's kind of the downfall to them. They are pretty much better in most ways, except for packaging them, the expense, and they're heavy.
Right.
You know what I mean? They just are. Whenever you add stuff to it.
Then this is the Summit rocker arms. That's the timing set. I don't think that's anything special.
No, I usually just
and
anything with
the lifters. It's like that's their LS3.
I do not.
Type
I
lifters.
would, if it was me, I would put a link bar lifter in it. That's one thing I definitely would do for this type of power application. You're gonna have lots of load on the exhaust push rod, exhaust valve trying to open into that 1500 horsepower combustion cycle. So I would definitely do a link bar lifter. It keeps them from rotating in that plastic tray.
Yeah, I know they've had problems with that.
Yeah, I wouldn't even chance it on something like this. I would go straight to probably either a Morel or a Johnson link bar lifter.
Okay.
But that stuff, we won't even need to have that.
I know, I'm just saying,
We'll
that's why I'm having this conversation, because,
Yeah. So whatever you feel comfortable with, but in my opinion, I would do the link bar
Okay.
lifter. We'll have stuff here. We can check the bore diameters and make sure everything's going to work with it.
and then that's just aftermarket wrist pins. They're better wrist pins.
Probably do at least like a 205 wall pin.
And then the push rods, they're stock length, but they're chromoly.
Okay, yeah, that stuff all works for me. If you do a 5/16 push rod, which is factory diameter, you're going to want to try to find a 115 wall push rod for this type of application. So find yourself, there's a bunch, Trend I know makes them, Manly and the others probably do, but you do want to try to find something that's not an 080 thick, but is a 115 wall push rod. It's just going to be that much more rigid. And at these power levels, that's getting to the point where that push rod is probably...
I don't know what this is.
That's not a problem. I can call Trend and get you some push rods if it comes down to it. We'll just they stock a lot of that stuff on the shelf. I'm sure in the LS lengths, the whatever it is, 400.
Oh, they should have lots of it. That's one reason you do LSs, because everything's on the shelf.
Right, exactly. I'm sure that those parts will be available. We'll just make sure to put a 115 wall push rod in it.
A tensioner, but
And then we'll do, let's see here. We're going to CNC the heads, valve job those. What intake manifold are you going to run?
I'm pretty sure I'm going to have a Holly and put the Trick Flow intercooler in between.
So the high ram?
Yeah, the high ram or the low ram. I don't know which. Or it could be the Texas Speed makes one now too.
Do they?
They're all similar, you know. So but the Trick Flow thing goes in between it. That way, I don't have all the plumbing to the intercooler. I can just run it in.
Yeah, those are pretty nice for this up to this power level. Probably, I've heard some of the intercoolers can be a bit restrictive.
Well, they make different ones.
Yeah, make them different thickness.
They make different. Yeah, they make one that's like a 1,500 horsepower rating or more.
Right. Yeah.
We'll go that way.
Yeah, and then,
I think it's even more than that.
And then an ice tank. You know, they work way better with some ice in them.
Oh yeah. That's what I'm saying. So the intake air is like 60 degrees or something like that after you get all the boost. So.
Yeah, I've heard of actually having issues with getting lower than say 50 degrees. We've had a couple of our races.
That's actually an issue.
Yeah, guys were getting
They couldn't get enough fuel to it or something. What would be the issue?
I don't know if it was an atomization problem or the air was too cool, but they were having sub 50 degree inlet air temperatures that said it wouldn't run. So I don't know. I wasn't there. But
I just couldn't imagine.
Are they T4, T6?
I think they're T4s.
Typically, when you're running twins on something like this, it would be. Do you know how big the compressor housing is? I mean, probably going to be. What does the compression ratio work out to there with that 12 cc dish?
I'm guessing around 10 to 1. Tony was saying like 10 to 1.
All right, I think that's good to go, man. If you want to on this thing, then
well, other than it being in the flood, the cylinder walls don't look too good, but that's all going to be out. Yeah.
it's not going to matter. So we'll need you to do a main stud kit on this as well.
Yeah, I had it in there.
We'll probably get the main stud kit.
So the head studs and the main studs you guys can get too.
Because we'll need the main studs just to do the line bore work.
Okay.
We'll hone this to set the clearances when we get the crank. We'll need to get the rotating assembly here, obviously, to be able to balance it and set clearances as well.
All right.
We'll get whatever. Probably put an X bearing in it. Most of the time they run an X bearing. You're going to run this thing, 2.5 minimum rods and mains. So it'll be pretty loose. It's going to make a lot of power. I don't know how hard you'll end up RPMing it. Probably around 7,000.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Something like
65, 7,000
Nothing
maybe.
crazy. You're
Right.
just making all your power with boost.
With boost, right?
So yeah, should be good to go.
It must have been running when it went under.
Yeah, that's what we're thinking.
Yeah, it bent the rods, or one of them.
Shot will crack blocks. Believe it or not. Adjusting
Yeah.
water will, when you bend a rod, it's catastrophic. So I'll just look over it here. I don't see anything. These things like to break, like I think somewhere in this neck of the woods on around the water jackets when they do break. But I think that's actually more of an LS7 problem. Those things break left and right. These blocks seem to do pretty good, especially with the thick sleeve.
Oh yeah.
Stock bore, 4065
Thick,
bore
right.
with a flange sleeve. And we'll leave the sleeves. The flange will be about 2 to 3 thousandths taller than the counter bore.
Yeah.
That way they'll actually protrude out of the neck, and it gives you a lot better sealing that way.
That's why they seal better. I know you guys said that. I'm like, well, why? What the hell? Why?
Okay. It just protrudes out of the deck,
Just a wee bit.
between
Yeah.
2 and 6 thousandths to 1 and 6 thousandths, depending on the application.
Yeah.
But obviously, you know, it's sticking up against the gasket.
Yeah.
Then we'll run the MLX gasket that has like a little layer folded over inside of it that helps to clamp it as well. Those have been all pretty good. I think that will get you sealed up for 25 pounds anyway. Gonna grab after this thing, we'll set it down right here. Seeing that you want to make big power and you're not necessarily a max effort build, but you're doing everything you can with what you got here.
Yeah, mostly a dependable, you know.
Maybe we'll soft chamber the head. Basically, it'll just see this big ugly
Right.
wall in here. That's just not great for boost and
Detonation.
detonation with lots of cylinder pressure and lots of liquid fuel inside there. I'll get with Preston and Captain and figure out what he wants to do at this power level for valves. For me, I definitely have guys out there running stuff at that kind of power level.
Yeah, as long as they're good. I mean.
Just because our block is getting worked on, we got a solution. We're gonna use this as our mock-up. We found this in the junk. We'll clean her up a little bit. We'll be able to bolt that in and mock up anything we gotta do. On that note, appreciate you watching this video. Like us and subscribe. Hit the bell, comment. We'll see you next time.